welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with John and Michelle.
Hi everybody, welcome.
Yeah, tonight we're going to be looking at detachment. We're going to be looking at how non-attachment can take us to peace, take us to freedom.
And how attachment can take us the opposite way.
Yeah, attachment leads us to hell. So we're going to be looking at the power of non-attachment tonight. And then Michelle will very briefly give us an overview quickly of some of the astrology going on. We're going to start with a centering meditation, which is always a good way to start our evenings. And then at the end of the evening, towards the end, Michelle will give us a beautiful, lovely, one of her beautiful guided visualizations, and they're really beautiful. So stay around for that. And then right at the end, we're going to give you another affirmation, beautiful affirmation for the coming week. And this week, well, I think we're going to see a lot of fireworks around the world. It's not.
There's been some wild energy, and I think it's a little.
Oh, I was talking about Guy Fawkes.
That too, hey?
Yeah. No, I think we're going to have Guy Fawkes a little bit early this year, perhaps on the 3rd of November. But let's see what happens. So I think we do need a good affirmation this week, and we definitely need to carry a centering energy with us during this week.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So. Welcome to everyone.
Everybody.
Hello.
Lovely to see some familiar faces, even if you're tiny. Your names pop up on our screen.
Yeah.
So.
And if you're joining us for the first time, just type in where you're from. We love to know where you're from. And if you can hear us okay, just let us know in the comments box, because we're using a different microphone tonight. So we like to make quite sure that you can hear us. And also we love getting your comments and your questions, so we know for future satsangs what we can discuss. If there's anything particularly you'd like us to look at, we will do that for you. So type in your questions and comments. We love getting that, and we really love getting your hearts. So thank you for all the hearts that we're getting. Thank you. Love makes the world go around. Thank you. So hopefully you can all hear us, can you?
We're not getting anybody saying not, so I'm hoping that they're greetings of peace. Hello, Rihanna. So I think that she can probably hear us.
Yeah.
Sure, someone will tell us that they
Hopefully
couldn't.
you can hear us. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Excellent. All right, so let's just start as we normally do by centering ourselves into alignment with life. And life, the greatest realization is that life isn't yesterday, life is not tomorrow, life is in the eternal present moment. And we leave life, we go into our stories of yesterday and tomorrow, and generally those stories are ones of anxiety and fear and guilt and shame and all of those. So let's bring our awareness out of our story into alignment with this moment, with life. And we do that by, first of all, generally shutting our eyes and just centering on our breath. The breath of life is always present, always here and always now. And no matter how hectic our lives get, it just takes one conscious breath, one breath taken with full awareness to bring us out of our story into this present moment, into reality. So shutting our eyes and focusing on our breath for a few moments, we relax our bodies. We become aware of our feet, maybe they're resting on the floor. Become aware of where your hands are resting. Become aware of any tension that you hold in your shoulders or neck muscles. Maybe you'd like to give them a little shrug. Just shrug off any baggage that you're carrying on in this moment. You don't need to carry anything with you into the present moment. The present moment is pristine. It doesn't need baggage. So shrug it off. Let it go. And just focus your awareness on your breath, on the life's intelligence that breathes you gently in and then breathes you gently out. Even when you're fast asleep, even when you're unconscious, this intelligence called life, which is presence, is always breathing you. And as we bring our awareness into alignment with life, with the breath, so we find most of the challenges, the problems, the worries that we had dissipate very quickly. And our body comes back into homeostasis as we align with the balancing power of presence. Now take a deep breath in, filling your tummy right up with air, and then a long, relaxing breath out. And the reason we do that deep breath is because most people, when they're in a state of stress, they breathe from just the upper part of the lungs. And a relaxation response is initiated in the body when we do the breathing from the diaphragm. So right now, breathe from your diaphragm by pushing your diaphragm down. It pulls down actually, and you blow your tummy up like a big ball. So let's try that again. We breathe in by pushing our belly button out, filling your whole tummy with the air, and then up into the top of your lungs, and then that beautiful, long, relaxing, releasing sigh out. Sigh it out. It's good to make that noise. Sigh it out. Let it go. You don't need to hold on to that anymore. It's done its work. Deep breath in. Again, filling your tummy up like a big ball, blowing your tummy up. And then that lovely, beautiful, long sigh out again. Just relaxing your shoulders, your neck muscles, your forehead. Let everything go. Again, another deep breath in, blowing your tummy up. But now I want you to take the air right down to your toes. Visualize the air going right down to your feet. And then this beautiful, long, relaxing, releasing, surrendering breath out. Just let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And now, once again, allow life to breathe you without trying to control it in any way. Just allow this intelligence that beats your heart, that digests your food, that looks after all the metabolic processes in the body. Take care of the breath. And for a moment you might like to enter a state of gratitude for that breath, for that intelligence. Just a big thank you in your heart. Big thank you for life. For life, for taking the oxygen from your lungs and bathing every single one of your billions of cells, every single moment of the day, in fresh oxygen and nutriments, and taking the used waste matter away from the cells and expelling it through the other organs in the body. This intelligence called life knows how to repair a cut. It knows how to listen. It knows how to help you walk. It knows how to lift up a cup to drink some tea or coffee. A big thank you for this intelligence called life that in this moment, right now, occupies your body. Just a thank you. Another thank you. They say the only prayer we ever need to say in life is thank you. Thank you. And if you say thank you 10 times, you'll find a tremendous shift in the energy in your body. Just thank you. You're not thanking necessarily anything outside of yourself. You're thanking this beautiful, wonderful energy that without which your body wouldn't be alive. Let's for a moment focus on everything we can hear. Where we are, we have quite a wind blowing. It's what's called a southeaster, whistling through our window. But what are the sounds that you can hear wherever you are? Can you hear any evening sounds? Maybe some faint traffic noise? Maybe the hum of a computer? Take a moment to become quiet enough inside that you can hear even the faintest sounds that are available to your ears in this moment. Listening is another beautiful, wonderful blessing from life. Listening. In order to listen, we have to surrender completely to the present moment. Become aware of how quiet you become on the inside when you truly listen. Become aware of the out-breath as you truly listen. The out-breath is a surrendering, and so is listening. Become aware of how you feel as you listen, as you breathe out. Become aware of your feet on the floor. Become aware of your bum on the chair and your hands gently resting maybe on your laps. Become aware of the ease of this moment. Become aware of the stillness of just this moment, the stillness within you. And this stillness is pure, unconditioned presence. And we give it a name and we call it being. To spend more time in being and a little bit less time in doing pays rich rewards in the quality of our lives, in the quality of our health, the quality of our relationships, in the quality of our experiences. Now take another deep breath in, right into that tummy of yours, blowing the tummy up like a big ball, big, 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 and then the long, relaxing, releasing breath out. And when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, just become aware of how you feel in this moment. How do you feel? A bit more relaxed, a bit more at peace.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very calming.
One
like a relief.
One conscious breath, takes you out of your mind and back into alignment with reality. One conscious breath, and you've always got that with you. You don't have to go and get anything. You don't have to buy anything. Yeah, beautiful tool. Thank you for joining us all tonight. Welcome. Sunday night Satsang.
Welcome, everybody.
Lovely.
Hope you had a good weekend amongst all this rather blustery energy that we've been experiencing.
There's a lot of energy going around at the moment. I wonder if it's playing out in any of your lives.
Maybe some of you have had a nice calm time of it, but I think a lot of us have been feeling quite sort of big energetic shifts and ups and downs. And I put my blog out the other day, so you can watch that on my page. It'll be there. But just briefly, there's some very big energy. And one of the sort of contributors to that is the planet Uranus, which is right now opposing the Sun and was right next to the Moon last night. And what that does really is it's sort of the Sun at the moment in Scorpio, which is deep and intense, and it's deep emotion. And when this planet called Uranus is around, which only happens once a year, in this way, it's sort of polarized. It sort of breaks through our layers, to expose that stuff that we don't necessarily like too much. Maybe the shadow would come out. Maybe we would react in a way that we don't like. Maybe old patterns of behavior, old emotions, stuff that we've repressed. It sort of gets triggered. So I've spoken to a few people today who have felt that. In the interactions with others and with themselves, where old stuff sort of come to the surface. So it's not all bad. It's actually to feel it so that it can come up. And then for me, there's actually also a very strong energy of insight into that. So it's a little bit like if you could imagine a laser beam going straight in and going doosh onto your sore points or into your shadow bits, shining straight into the dark corners of your psyche. And in so doing, it doesn't feel particularly pretty, but it actually helps you to find insight, gain insight into those patterns that run us. But as soon as we find insight, and we actually can talk about it today, we can become the observer a little bit more, and we don't get caught up in so much of the drama. of it. So tonight we're going to speak about that sort of drama, because Scorpio is often associated, and it's a month of it. Drama, big, it's intense, it's boily, it's strong, it's powerful. So it's to stay sane as much as we can and not jump into the boiling pot. For me, this energy really does feel a bit like a pressure cooker. I think the whole world is waiting for something to happen. We don't really know what. And it's sort of like that pressure's building and building. And, given an alignment like this, and the pressure can go kapoof. So if you've ever used a pressure cooker, in the old days, those little things, if you left them too long, the roof, the top, the lid would fly off. It's a bit like that.
Did it happen to you?
No, but I know people that it did happen to, so I was always very careful of it, and I still am. Yeah. So that's sort of just the energetic side of it, and it can be quite exhausting, but it can also be enlightening. So it's breaking down to break through. So in the next few days, and from this weekend, if you've had any insights over the last couple of days, if your issues have been triggered, if those old pains or old hurts have been triggered, it's just to spend a little bit of time reflecting on them and seeing, what is this pattern, What is this thing that keeps on recurring, and is there any way that I can deal with it in a different way? Yeah.
So my understanding that we actually right now going through quite an intense time now, the next few days, is that right?
Yeah.
Does it ease a little bit?
Well, Mercury, it's there's always a lot of different influences, so it should actually ease from now, start to ease. But then on the day of the US elections on the 3rd, we have Mercury turning direct, which he's been retrograde for the last few weeks, and he's turning direct on the 3rd. And whenever a planet turns or shifts into a new sign, or goes retrograde, or goes direct, that's when the energy is more intense with that sign, with that planet. So Mercury's going direct on the day of the elections. So most of the, what we call mundane astrologers, the predictive astrologers, which I'm not really, would sort of predict to say that it's unlikely that everything's going to go smooth and seamlessly.
I don't think you have to be an astrologer to say that.
Very unlikely. So it's going to be interesting, because it's usually associated with misunderstanding, not very effective counts and all that kind of thing. So the last time it was Bush and Al Gore, which was also a very surprising result. So who knows? But it's a sort of, the world is in a way waiting for that, and obviously in each of our countries we're waiting for things to happen too. So,
But there's a wonderful saying which brings relief, and that is, this too will pass. So no matter how challenging the situations and circumstances and events that you're finding yourself in, just know that this too will pass, because everything does pass. Everything that arises in time passes away in time. And there's something that doesn't, though. There's something that doesn't pass, and that is the present moment. It's always the present moment. I mean, you can ask yourself that question any time of the day or night. Is it the present moment? And the answer will always be yes. So there is something a bit more eternal than the form. It's a bit more permanent than the changing things and events and situations and circumstances of our life. And tonight we're really looking at that. What is that doesn't change? What is it that doesn't pass away? And when in the opening meditation I was speaking a bit about aligning with life. And life and the present moment are not two different things. In fact, life is not a thing at all. And the present moment is not a thing either, although the mind likes to make them into a thing. But it isn't. Life is an energy that animates form. The present moment or presence itself is an energy that animates form. And what we do with our human perspective and our human doingness is we focus on things. We're very programmed to only focus on things. We don't focus on that which holds the things. We don't, for example, you walk into a room, and what's the first thing you notice when you walk in a room? When you look at the furniture, the carpet, the ceiling even, whatever's in the room. But in fact, there's something way more primal, way more fundamental than the furniture in the room, and that is the space. Without the space, you couldn't have the furniture in the room. So the space is the holding energy which allows the things to be there. Now, attachment is when we only focus on things. And things can be physical things. They can be a coffee table or a coffee cup. They can be physical things, but they can also be ideas in your mind.
Could be relationships. They
can be relationships.
Outcomes that
everything
you want.
that you have a noun attached to is really a thing. And as such, we focus our whole identity on these things, on these thought forms. And that, says the Buddha, is the root cause of all suffering. When we become attached to things, we suffer. Now, some of the things that we get attached to, we might really want to hold on to. And that saying, this too will pass, doesn't sit too well with that idea. We would like them to stay with us forever, am I right? Certain things. But other things, we want them to go quickly past. So we have this holding on and this pushing away continually. Now, whether you're holding on or pushing away, it's attachment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's attachment. And all attachment, either positive attachment, holding, or pushing away, which is negative attachment, they create suffering for us. Now, detachment is not to become aloof and uncaring, which is what some people use.
A lot of people think that when you say the word detachment, they say, but how can I be, detached if I care about this person, or if I, I care about this job that I'm doing, or if I care about my country? How can I be detached? That makes me non-caring. Yeah.
So no, I'm not talking about that, because what the difference is that when people come aloof or detached, it's an emotional sort of coldness, and that's not what I'm saying at all. In order to have the full experience of being human, we need to access our feelings, and that's what a lot of the work that we do in our courses that we run, the online course and the workshops that we do. Because feeling is healing. So you need to go into those feelings. It's not disconnecting from your feelings. That's not what we're talking about. Because a feeling, again, isn't actually a thing. Although we might want to label it. When you go beyond the label, you just go into the direct experience of it. It's just a direct experiencing of this energy that's within us. Now, the detachment I'm talking about is not to be caught up in the self-identification with situations, circumstances, events, and people around you. So, for example, one of the biggest attachments that most of us have, those of us who have parents and those of us who have children, we get caught up in, that's my parent, and they should have, or they should, and there's a should. And we get caught up with the children, they're my children, therefore they should. Or they shouldn't, and that is the self-identification, because they're mine, and therefore there's a sense of me invested in it, and I want the best me possible, so I'm going to try and control those positively or negatively, pulling towards or pushing away that thing. Now, that's attachment. There's attachment.
And doesn't that go through with most relationships and most things? So, if somebody's car gets stolen, you say shame. But if it's your car, my car got stolen.
It's a part of me
that's
gone.
It's my car.
Yeah. So it's me.
My pet, my car, my couch.
Yeah.
It's got a completely different level of attachment when the word my comes in front of it.
And at the moment we even have my belief, I believe, this virus is real and it's killing millions of people, and someone else has a belief, I don't believe that this is a virulent virus. I don't believe it's any more dangerous than a normal flu. It's my belief this, and your belief is wrong, and then we have this whole fight. And it's purely because of it's because I get a sense of me in that situation. The moment we have a sense of me, mine or mine, we are in a vulnerable state. And that vulnerability comes out in ways of having to set boundaries, having to protect, having to defend, and it actually creates a lot of conflict in our own lives and also in the world at large. And that is because of the sense of I. So the detachment we're talking about tonight is just letting go the sense of self for that which is not you. Because you are that which never changes. That's the real part of you. You're not your body. You're not what
your relationships.
You're not your relationships, not the roles that you play. You're not your beliefs. You're none of those. They're all things you have. You have a belief. You have a body.
You have thoughts.
You have thoughts. These are all
They're
things
not who
that
you
you
are.
have. They're not who you are.
Don't believe them.
No.
They're not who you are.
No, there's something you're holding on to, and that too will pass. This body that you have, which you think, oh, this is me, mine. No, it passes very quickly. In fact, every time you breathe out 10 to the power of 22 atoms. That's 10 with 22 zeros. We are getting rid of our body moment to moment to moment, and we're taking in other molecules and atoms moment to moment to moment. The body you're wearing tonight is not the body you had on yesterday. It's already changed a huge amount. And every 8 months we know that virtually every single cell in the body is completely changed. So if you want to know how many bodies you've had so far in this life, just take your age today and divide it by 8 months. And that'll tell you how many meat suits you've had in this life so far. And yet you are still here. The same essence of presence is looking through your eyes today as looked through your 10-year-old eyes. Or your 6-year-old eyes, or your 2-year-old eyes. The level of conscious awareness changes. The ideas about us change. But that pure presence looking through your eyes today is the same as it's going to be in 20 or 30 or 40 years' time. It's exactly the same. It's timeless. It doesn't change. Now, when you know that to be yourself, then you can look at the drama of your life. Oh, the car is stolen. I don't have to get all hung up about it. I can, I can celebrate the coming into my awareness of newness, and I can celebrate the leaving from my awareness, everything, because everything will leave. Everything.
Yeah, and just what you said there, the car has been stolen, or the car is giving me problems. As soon as you actually just change the word, it's amazing what it does. Straight away, it just puts a little bit of distance between you and the thing, the person, So the car, the husband, the mother, the child, as opposed to my husband, my car, my child. Immediately there's a huge emotional attachment there. And as soon as you just put another word in front, it just allows you a little bit of distance away from identifying yourself with it. Because I think the problem comes when we identify ourselves as that role.
Yeah.
So we're identifying ourselves as the mother, the girlfriend, the wife. I am your girlfriend, therefore. I am your husband, therefore you should. So then from the attachment, a whole lot of expectations follow that. This is my car, so therefore. This is my house, so therefore. This is my country. So I think that when we're in that state of aligning ourselves and our identity of actually who we are with what's around us, that's where it's very difficult to detach, because we actually think that it's part of us. Like what John, you always say, you get into a car and you drive the car and then you get out the car. You don't think that the car's you.
Or maybe some people sleep in the garage inside their car.
We think we are this.
Yeah.
We think that this is it.
Yeah.
Every
night
this
when
name,
you go to sleep,
this Michelle, this body, this person, these emotions, that this is it, and it's not. But as soon as when I convince myself that it is, then it's very scary.
It is, because it's vulnerable. Because the moment you identify yourselves with any form, you are vulnerable. If you are that which is changing, then you are vulnerable. So realize that. If you, for example, blow a smoke ring, and you have a beautiful smoke ring here, and you can walk around it, you can look at it, and it's beautiful. But the moment you go to lean on it, if you went to lean on it, it would let you down. And so it is, the moment you lean on an identity outside of who you really are, you will experience disillusionment. Always, 100% of the time. The moment you try and grasp something that's always changing, you will experience pain. And that's what Buddha was trying to convey in his teachings of non-attachment. because it isn't the actual thing that causes you the pain. It's your attachment to the thing that causes you the pain. You realize that it's the attachment that creates the pain. And non-attachment is just really elevating your awareness above the thingness of the world. And from that elevated perspective, you get a clearer and a cleaner picture of what is going on. So you can clearly see what's going on in the drama, but you're no longer in the drama. It's like, for example, watching a film. If you go and watch a drama or a thriller or whatever in the cinema, and you start identifying with the characters, which is the trick of the producer and the director. That's the idea. Their idea is to con you into believing the movie is real. And the movies that get the highest accolades are the ones that manage to con you to attach yourself, your emotions, to those moving shadows on the screen. That's all they are. They're just moving shadows. They're contrasts of light and dark moving on a solid two-dimensional plane.
It's a little bit like life, eh?
Yeah, and a really good director, producer, whatever, an actor will convince you that is real, and then you get all caught up in it.
And emotional, and you...
Correct. Yeah. And so non-attachment is just standing back from the drama for a moment. Someone scratches your car, use that analogy again. You can get caught up in the drama. How dare you scratch my car? You're an inconsiderate driver, whatever. You can do that. You're not going to take the scratch away. The scratch is still going to be there. And what you're going to do is you're going to create a lot of suffering for yourself and probably the people around you. A lot of suffering, a lot of stress. You're going to age your body more, because when you get upset, the body ages. And it doesn't help the situation at all. And it's, when, for example, in that, that example, when the car gets scratched, if you have an attachment in your mind, it's not the car that got scratched. It's me. You dented me. How dare you dent me? I'm dented. I'm not perfect like I used to be, because now you scratched me or you dented me. And that is just not true. You, the real you, the eternal you, cannot be dented or scratched.
Yeah.
You are perfect. You are divinely perfect. The present moment is what you really are. You are presence looking through your eyes right now, which you experience. This is not a new belief pattern I want you to believe in. This is something you experienced earlier on, hopefully in the centering meditation. When you were listening, you were not anything. You were just the awareness that was listening. That's it.
You weren't attaching to any of what you were listening to. I think we very much, that's why we find such presence in nature, because we're present in nature. We don't think that we are the tree. We are on a level, but we don't identify it with who we are. So we're able to just be in it. So to be in the space, and then you actually are able to be in the observer. You're able to actually see. Because when things are going so crazy like they are on our planet, it's very easy, because they have an energy of their own. I sort of see things in energetic forms and language. And we're all energy. We're moving energy. That's what we are. So when there's big energies around, it's almost like a vortex. It can pull you in. And so it's very easy to get sucked into that vortex of energy. And before you know it, you're in it and you're reacting in a way which isn't present, because you're actually lost in the vortex, like in the soup of what's going on, like in an energetic soup. So I believe that we have the choice and the opportunity in every moment to not get sucked into it if we don't choose to. But the only way that we can do that is if we are present. So if we bring ourselves into the position of the observer and we're able to see it, it's almost like you're able to drift above it and look down on it. So you're not in it, you're not in the trenches. You're able to actually see it and go, okay, that's what's happening. How do I respond to this? Do I want to get involved with this? Do I want to actually jump into the drama with everybody else in this particular situation? It could be a family situation, or a situation you might find yourself in at work, a clash amongst other people. We always have the choice. Are we going to get involved and jump into the fray, or are we going to observe it and then respond rather than react? Because when we're in it, we're probably going to react, because we are being influenced by the energy of everybody else around us.
Yeah, it's really a matter of consciousness. You know, when you are observing the story without a sense of me invested in the story, you're way more conscious, you're way more calm. You have a higher level of intelligence, spiritual intelligence, emotional intelligence, and you're then able to make better choices in that moment. When you are pulled into the drama, you tend to start operating from the old part of the brain, what's called the reptilian brain, and that's a fight or flight or freeze response, and that's just action and reaction, action and reaction. And so many people's lives are caught up with action and reaction. There's no conscious control in their life. There's no freedom to choose a new path in their life, because they're operating from that old part of the brain. But when you can become a little detached from the sense of self being out there, rather, knowing yourself to be presence, knowing yourself to be life, knowing yourself to be spirit, pure unconditioned awareness, when you know yourself to be that, then there's not this unconsciousness in you that gets drawn into that drama. Because really what happens when you do get caught in, your brain rhythms speed up.
Yeah.
And you go from a relaxed alpha theta, you go into beta, you go into high beta, and you go into high stress. And the more thoughts in your head, the more attached you are to the drama. Think about that. The less thoughts in your head, the less attached to the drama. And when we did the centering meditation right in the beginning, you want to find a lessening of the thoughts. You want to find an opening in that space between your thoughts. You are that space between your thoughts. You are that holding energy. I spoke earlier about the room. You walk into the room and you see the furniture, but what holds the furniture is the space. You are that space. That is unconditioned consciousness, which holds the awareness of all the stuff, all the things. And when we become calm, we expand into that space with our attention. When we are caught up in drama, we are the things. We are the little me. We are the little personality that needs to defend itself in this situation. We have a sense of identity.
And we also get caught up in the clutter, because if we're too close to it, it's like it becomes overwhelming. So it's almost like we're caught up in the clutter and we can't feel the space. It's like being in a cluttered room where you feel claustrophobic and the windows are shut and there's lots of junk around and you can't breathe properly. That's what it feels like when you actually overwhelmed by what's going on around you. So it's just, I think, to be sensitive enough to know that yes, I'm actually feeling overwhelmed right now. What do I need to do? I need to actually step away.
Clear my mind.
I studied energy healing years ago, and we'd be working on clients, and our teacher would say, when we'd sort of get these really big feelings coming up, she'd say, step away from the client. Step away. Get your own sense of where your energy is, because at the moment you can't tell which is yours and which is that client's, because you're mushed up. So you've got to step away from it. So I think stepping away is really good, especially now.
It's very good advice.
Especially
Step
now.
away from the drama.
And I mean, there are big energies around.
Yeah.
There are big conflicting energies around. And Uranus, that planet I was telling you about, is actually the planet that's associated with detachment. So it's almost sort of helping us to say, no, you don't have to actually go deep down, dive into it all the time. You can just raise your consciousness up a notch and just remove yourself. Take some space, as opposed to feeling like you want to sort it out and you want to stay in it so that you can actually make it better. Sometimes it's better to just step away.
Step away, that's good advice.
Step away, you know, like I say, step away from the car.
Yeah.
Step away from the drama.
And step away from our beliefs. How about that? There's a good thing. You know, we get so caught up in our beliefs. I mean, if you just look at politics, I fail to understand the American political system, where you've got, what, 340 million people and only two people representing two polarized sides, you know, and then you're either red or you're blue, you know, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I would
Crazy.
suggest that if people don't step away from their polarity in America, their identity with a particular political party, whoever wins in the election, there's going to be a lot of conflict because there's that sense of self invested in a political outcome. And that will create madness. That will create madness, unfortunately. Yeah, and it'll play out there. So I would suggest that we heed the words of Mahatma Gandhi, that we have to be the peace that we desire to see in the world. We have to be the change we desire to see in the world. We have to be the love that we want to see in the world. And that does not come from things. It doesn't come from attaching yourself to ideas or to possessions or to roles. It comes from stepping away and becoming less attached to the sense of self on the outside and realizing you are that which doesn't change. You are that eternal presence. And we have a word called life, which is that. We have a word called spirit, that is that. And we also have that word love. Love never goes anywhere. Love is not a thing, doesn't pass. It's always here, always in the present moment. And there's another word that we can put there as well, which we experienced in the opening meditation, and I think we're going to experience it again with your closing one, and that is the word peace. You are it. You don't have to seek the peace. You are peace. Peace is a pointer to your natural state of being. How do I know that? Well, when you stop being a human doing, when you stop being a human thinking, when you stop striving and attaching yourself to time, well, you are at peace. So, when you let go of the need to attach, to hold on to anything, when you let go of that, your true essence is left over. And that is peace. And that is love. And that is presence. So that's what detachment brings you in the truest sense of the word. Not becoming detached emotionally. I'm not talking about that at all. I think feeling is healing, so we need to go into the feelings, but not being attached to them for a sense of self. For example, let's look at feelings. I am angry. No. You're not angry. You are feeling angry. There's a big difference. Or I'm depressed. No, you're not depressed. You're feeling depressed. And then suddenly there's that stepping away.
Distance. It's the same
there's
thing.
the depression, and here I am. Oh, I'm not depressed. No, you're not depressed. You're just feeling depressed.
Because as soon as you say you're depressed, I am depressed, then you're defining yourself as being depressed.
Yeah.
That is your essence.
Yeah.
You're actually saying, I am depressed. The essence of me is depressed. So you're just confirming it. Whereas I'm feeling depressed, feelings come and feelings go.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling depressed and now I'm feeling happy. And now I'm feeling sad and now I'm feeling manic. I'm feeling different things and they're passing through. But none of them are who I am. Because I think we feel sometimes, we think that we actually are our feelings, we are our thoughts, we are our bodies, we are everything.
The roles.
And we are our roles. And when we get a little bit of distance from that, it's liberating.
It is. If you want peace, peace comes from liberation. Liberation of yourself from your attachments, from the world of form, from the world of preferences. Liberating yourself from that brings you the freedom that you've been seeking. And you've been seeking them by possessions. And possessions don't give you freedom. They become generally your master, don't they?
Yeah, funny enough, I had a client a few years ago and he had a major business issue and he came to see me and I sort of looked at his chart and I said, well, what's been going on for you? So he said, oh, well, I've lost everything. So I said, really? So he said, yeah, everything, gone. He said, I'm living in a room and I lost my business, lost my house, lost all my money. And I said, well, you're looking really well. He said, I've never been better in my life. So I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I feel freer and more liberated than I've ever felt in my life. And now I've got lots of ideas for amassing more stuff. But at that moment, because he didn't have all his attachments, he was free, man. Now, most of us would be terrified to lose the stuff that we had. And he would have too, until it happened. And then he said, oh, well, now it's happened. It's like I'm liberated. I don't have an attachment to the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And all the time that I spent attaching to that stuff, I'm not worrying about it anymore because it's not there.
Yeah. And you don't physically have to give away all your stuff.
You don't.
But what we would suggest, if you do want peace and if you do want this inner contentment, then give up the idea of a self attached to it.
Yeah.
So give up that attachment. That's all. You can still have the car. You can still have the house.
It comes and
you
goes.
don't even have to get rid of the children. But you just get rid of the idea that it is me. It is not you. You're not identified with that anymore. And that gives you the freedom. That really does give you that peace and that joy. You're able to enjoy them more when you let go of attachment. Because when you have a sense of self invested in it, there's always an underlying fear of loss.
Yeah.
Always there.
Always.
And when you give up that attachment, you give up that underlying fear of loss.
Yeah.
And that's very liberating. Really, really is liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully that's maybe given a
And remember, it only
food for
takes
thought.
one conscious breath to come back to who you really are. Just one breath taken with full awareness. And you're not attached to things. In that moment, you just, this awareness that's breathing. And that gives you the freedom. So it doesn't have to be a long process.
No, it doesn't. And I think we think it does,
Yeah.
but it really doesn't. It takes me 3 breaths, but 3 breaths will do it. As long as we can observe quickly enough to remember to take the 3 breaths before we actually get sucked into the drama.
Into the story.
Or into our own story in our head.
Yeah.
And we start believing our inner roommates, because that's another thing. That becomes overwhelming and becomes the narrative of our lives.
Yeah.
So it's what we believe, and we can detach from that as well. When we start to say, is this even true? The story that I'm telling myself. And another quick way of detaching that I find is really interesting is when you do find yourself going into a story about something, is to say, just to stop for a second, say, the story I'm telling myself about this is X, Y, and Z. It also,
Yeah, and if you can write it down.
It immediately takes you out of this is what's happening.
Yeah.
This is the story I'm telling myself about what's happening. And then you realize, oh my goodness, this isn't probably even what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm just telling myself a huge, big, fat story about what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's another way of just
And that's
getting
where
some
journaling
space.
comes in, doesn't
yeah,
it?
journaling does. The story I'm telling myself is this, and you allow yourself to tell the story.
And you write
and then
it,
you
in
write it
writing
all
it
down.
It's,
And then you look back and
Yeah.
you think, wow, that's a story. It's like a novel. And it's all come from here, from
drama.
the roommates in my head that
Yeah.
have got these wild imaginations.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes we can assume that something's happening with another person, and it can create conflict when you actually sit down and discuss it. And you're able to say, well, the story that I was telling myself was this, and the other person can say, well, that wasn't what was happening. I wasn't thinking that. But you had a story going on in your head that was what I was thinking.
And then you become attached to your thoughts about it.
Yeah.
And that, Osho says we have the ability as human beings to make what isn't more real to us than what is.
Yeah.
And we make our assessment of situations more real than the actual the
Really
situation
do.
itself. We do. I mean, just think about that we have the ability to make what isn't more real to us than what is.
And I always laugh when someone says they're not creative. I think you're not creative. The stories you tell yourself, all of us, are very creative. We're very imaginative, creative beings. We're imagining our lives every moment, and all the dramas associated with what could happen and might never happen.
Yeah.
We're very creative.
Very creative.
Don't make no mistake, there's not one of us that isn't creative and hasn't got an amazing imagination. So it's just to choose where we focus it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also to understand, just, when we use the words I am, it's a very powerful statement of fact, I am. It's the name of the Creator, the Aya Asha Aya, I am that, I am. And whatever you put after that word, you give your creatorship energy to, whether you're saying it positively or negatively. Henry Ford says whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So if you say I am depressed. Well, you creating that. That is your reality. I am, or I am well. Well, that's something else you're creating
joyful
for yourself. So just be aware of when you use the name I am, what you attach after it. Me, mine, or mine.
Mine, and I am.
Let go of that, and I am. That's creative awareness. But we understand that the mind has a great momentum in it. You spent many, many years accumulating the story, the sense of self around all these thoughts, and they're not going to become your servant overnight. They're going to be your master. So we run online courses. We have a course which is very powerful at changing your lives, and it's called Journey to Freedom. And it's a 13-week course. We'll be starting another one possibly shortly. We haven't set a new date for that. We've got 2 running at the moment. And we'll be starting a new one. We'll put out the dates on our social media, etc. And also today, 1st of November, we're actually launching a brand new spiritual supportive platform that's open to everyone.
It's called INNERSPACE.
INNERSPACE, isn't that lovely? INNERSPACE, beautiful.
And basically what it is that every 2 weeks we have a Zoom call where we get together and we chat about a theme which is themed to the astrology of the moment, lightly themed, but each theme each month has a theme. So this month, November, is transformation, which is letting go of the old in order to birth the new. And we've got some beautiful images that we're working with this month on that. And then in addition to the Zoom call, you also get a page with a whole lot of lovely information and meditation and some journal work and some creative stuff for you to do over the month. So it's a self-regulated thing over the month. Nobody polices it or anything like that. But it's basically designed for offering support to people that are on this journey of awakening and would like support. Would like to know that they're part of a group, people that they can bounce ideas off, a community, and also to practice regularly what we're talking about, because it doesn't just happen in an hour. Some people it does, but very seldom. Most of us, it takes a while.
The energy of this year is really about application. So yes, we've gained the head knowledge, but this year is about taking that head knowledge into the heart. And when we apply what we know in everyday situations, we create wisdom. And wisdom will never be taken from you. Wisdom becomes who you are. So that's the importance of this year. And Michelle and I will guide you through that process, either with the course, the online course, which is quite intense in certain ways, or the just the platform, the INNERSPACE platform. We have our first Zoom meetup on that new course on that platform on Tuesday night. You could go along and have a look at journeysofawakening.com.
We'll put a little.
And you'll see. We're going to put a link here. And journeysofawakening.com. And when you get there in the menu tab, look at INNERSPACE and go and have a look. Michelle's designed this beautiful website and the page for INNERSPACE. Go and have a look at her lovely graphics. She certainly does use her creativity when it comes to the website. So go and have a look there. It's and
it's a monthly. You can join monthly or for a whole year. So you can check it out for a month and see if it's not expensive. So have a look, see if it appeals to you, and let us know.
And we look forward to having some of you on our first Tuesday night meetup.
And this month's going to be quite big energetically, so I think it's going to be quite an important month.
And then just another little plug, if you would like to join us, we're going to have a live retreat, real retreat, at the most beautiful place, Monkey Valley in Noordhoek, Monkey Valley Nature Retreat in Noordhoek. It's absolutely beautiful. Some of you would have seen the pictures on Facebook. It's absolutely beautiful. We've still got, I think, a couple more places open on that retreat, so you're still welcome to join. And the details, again, are all on journeysofawakening.com. Journeysofawakening.com.
That's right.
So do take a look, and we'd love to have you with us for the weekend. That's from Friday afternoon through to Sunday afternoon. Beautiful. Thank you. Shall we ask Michelle to lead us out?
5 minutes or so? Yeah, I'll lead you out in a short meditation.
And then stick around for the affirmation.
Okay. All right. So just take a nice deep breath in. And and a releasing breath out, and just start to settle in, start to cuddle in, nestle in to wherever you're sitting. Make yourself really comfortable. This is your time, your precious, sacred time. Nothing else that you have to do right now other than be here. So just take your attention to your breath. You don't force it, you don't do anything with it. Just notice the breath coming in and leaving your body. You're just noticing. Just be the observer of your breath. And with each out breath, just relax your body a little bit more. Soften it. Drop your shoulders. And just surrender to this moment. Just to this one. And to this one. I want you to imagine that you are walking down and you can hear water flowing. As you're walking down a little hill, you walk through some trees. And the sounds of a river start to get louder and louder until you reach the bank of a very beautiful, gentle river, crystal clear, flanked on either side by the most beautiful trees, green grass sloping down into the river, a few stepping stones here and there, birds in the trees, gentle sun touching your skin, beautiful blue sky overhead. And just imagine sitting down on the edge of this river. And just bring something to mind that's been troubling you. Once you have it, imagine putting that, whatever it is, has been troubling you, into your hand and just gently sending it down the river. And then return to sitting on the riverbank. And as you're sitting on the riverbank, you might start to have thoughts. You might start to have a conversation about something that happened or might happen or could happen. And as any thoughts arise, gently just let them flow down the river. And watch them flowing away. And then another thought might arise. And once again, you're just the observer, sitting on the riverbank, watching the thought arise, and then letting it go down the river. And just sitting now quietly, noticing whatever else is arising for you, in you, right now. And anything that isn't related to this moment right now, see if you can just let it go. Just for now. You can always pick it up later if you want to. But for now, just let it go. And come back to your breath. Come back to yourself sitting on the bank of the river, being caressed by the sun, beautiful sound of the water, the beautiful green grass beneath you, slight breeze brushing against your skin. The beautiful breath of life that enters in through your nostrils and nourishes your body. Just settle into this presence, knowing that at any time during the week, in your busy life, you can choose to take 2 or 3 minutes. You could do this exercise. You could just watch your breath and just put yourself into the position of the observer. And now give thanks for this evening, for yourself, for being here, for this community that we have. Give thanks to the river that you gave some of your troubles to and your thoughts. If you can give it a good thank you from right inside your heart, from deep inside your heart, a real thank you, thank you. Thank you for this moment. And then a beautiful deep breath in. And a relaxing, releasing breath out. And you can open your eyes whenever you're ready.
Beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. Really lovely.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've got some people with us.
Beautiful.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do a card.
Let's draw a card. Let's draw an affirmation card for the week. Let's see what guidance we can have to take with us for the week.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah. Affirmations are wonderful ways of...
jumped out, so that must be it.
Affirmations are wonderful ways of changing the neurological structures, the filters through which we see our world. So tonight we have a purple one jumped out. And it starts with that very powerful phrase that I am, that we spoke about earlier. I am an open channel for light and love to enter the world. I am an open channel for light and love to enter the world. And I'll post that now onto Facebook. Awesome. So thank you for being with us tonight. If you enjoyed tonight, please press the like and the share button and the subscribe. And we'll see you again shortly. Well, some of you will see you on Tuesday night for our new platform. That's wonderful. Otherwise, we'll see you again next Sunday for Satsang with John and Michelle. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Sleep tight.